Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Tellers. Today we'll be recapping an intriguing horror movie titled Never Let Go. So, grab your seat and prepare for a thrilling ride. The story revolves around a small family of three, Mama and her two sons Samuel and Nolan, who live in a secluded house deep in the forest. This isn't just any forest, it's believed to harbor a sinister evil. To protect themselves, the family uses long ropes tied to their bodies, ensuring they never stray too far from the house, which is their only sanctuary against the malevolent force outside. The movie opens with the voice of a young boy narrating the torment their mother endured. The evil first appeared to her as a snake, then shifted into other horrifying forms to haunt her. Mama wakes from a nightmare, startled. As she catches her breath, she hears a frog croaking outside. Curious, she steps out to investigate. Following the sound, she tries to catch the frog, but finds nothing. Suddenly, the croaking grows into a cacophony, and she hears a man groaning. Turning toward the sound, she's horrified to see a grotesque, demonic figure stretching its hand toward her. Panicked, she rushes back into the house to wake her sons, Samuel and Nolan. The boys, still groggy, get up, complete their morning chores, and sit down to eat. Samuel mentions the loud croaking of frogs from the previous night, hinting that winter is near. Nolan, however, seems distracted. After breakfast, the family gears up, tying ropes securely around themselves before venturing into the forest. The ropes are their lifelines, ensuring the forest's evil cannot touch them. As they search for food, Mama picks bugs off a tree. Suddenly, a voice whispers, "Let them go." She shakes it off and continues. Meanwhile, Samuel manages to catch a squirrel, and the boys celebrate. Nolan climbs a tree in search of bird eggs, but finds none. They've already hatched. Disappointed, he climbs down, but notices an egg just a short distance away. Unfortunately, the rope tied to him reaches its limit. Despite his longing to retrieve it, he stops when Samuel reminds him of the dangers of loosening the rope. It could be a trap set by the evil. Reluctantly, Nolan backs off after Samuel threatens to tell Mama, lifting his whistle as a warning. The boys start heading home, winding their ropes as they walk. Nolan hears Mama loves me more and he asks Sam, "What did you say?" Offended, Nolan demands, and Sam responded, "I didn't say anything." Nolan, still upset, deliberately steps on Sam's rope and falls, breaking his leg. In pain, he blows his whistle to alert Mama. Hearing the sound, she rushes to his rescue. However, in the commotion, Samuel realizes his rope has come loose. Panic sets in as eerie clicking sounds echo from the woods. Nolan jumps down to help his brother, but Mama's rope gets tangled, preventing her from reaching them. Suddenly, a monstrous old woman emerges from the shadows, crawling toward the boys with malicious intent. In a desperate move, Mama cuts her rope and rushes to her sons, dragging Samuel up a hillside. She quickly ties the rope around all three of them. The beast looms closer, snarling and moaning, but it cannot touch them. Strangely, it seems only Mama can see the creature. They manage to return home safely, but the ordeal isn't over. Mama, wary of the demon's influence, makes the boys recite a cleansing chant at knife point to ensure they are still clean. Afterward, she tends to Samuel's injuries. As she bandages him, he asks, "What did it look like this time?" Mama replies, "It looked like my mama. It's trying to scare me, the same way it scared her." In the evening, as the family sat down for dinner, Mama began sharing a chilling story from her childhood. She told the boys how the demon once tried to trick her when she was their age. "It took the form of a girl," she said, "crying for help just beyond my rope's limit. Her foot was stuck in a gopher hole, and she was wailing, screaming for someone to save her." Mama described how, each morning, she would check to see if the girl had left, but the figure remained, her skin turning a sickly blue and gray. "I couldn't understand why she stayed there," Mama said. Samuel asked, "Why didn't she leave?" Mama explained, "Because the evil wanted me to come closer, to doubt myself, to lure me off the rope. It's clever. It's patient." She looked at the boys sternly. "The evil can wear many skins. Never let your guard down." Later that night, after some playful moments before bed, Nolan asked Samuel, "When your rope broke, did you notice anything?" He began firing off a series of questions, his voice laced with skepticism about the evil in the forest. "Don't you ever wish you could run free like Coda?" Nolan asked. Samuel replied, "Coda's a dog. The evil doesn't care about animals." He hesitated before adding, "But when my rope broke, I felt something, like it was getting closer." Nolan dismissed his fear. "You were just scared," he said. Samuel, frustrated, asked, "Why are you asking all these questions? Mama's never lied to us." Nolan shrugged and said, "She loves me more. That's what I heard you say before I tripped on your rope." Samuel shot back, "I never said that." In the next scene, we see Mama sitting vigil, sharpening her knife. Suddenly, a noise draws her attention. She looks up to see a man approaching. As he gets closer, he calls her by her childhood nickname, Junebug. and says, "I've missed you so much." Mama doesn't respond, instead walking toward the house. The man shouts after her, his tone menacing. "What's your plan, Junebug? You've got none. You might as well hand them over to me, or would you rather watch them starve?" He taunts her further. "I got so close today. Sooner or later, you'll let go. And when you do, I'll make you eat your babies." Shaken, Mama slams the door behind her. The following scene shows Nolan bombarding Mama with questions. "What happens if the evil touches us?" he asks. Mama responds bluntly, "It'll make us kill each other. That's how the world ended." Nolan presses further, "How do you know we're alone? What if our house isn't the only one protected?" Mama reassures him firmly, "There's no one else out there." As time passes, we see the family's food supply dwindling. Each day, their meals grow smaller until the pantry is completely empty. They eat the last scraps of their food. The tension in the house growing palpable. One night, Mama is taking a shower when Nolan sleepwalks into the room. It's clear this is a regular occurrence. Gently, she carries him back to bed and fastens the bell on his ankle to prevent him from wandering again. The next morning, Mama ventures into the forest to hunt for food. After hours of searching, she finds nothing. Perched in her hiding spot, she spots a crow and readies her aim. Just as she's about to shoot, the crow appears to be pecking at Nolan's face. Horrified, she looks away, realizing it's only a vision. Refocusing, she fires at the crow but misses. Frustrated and desperate, she screams into the empty forest. With no other options, she gathers wood, peels it back, and fries it to create something for the boys to eat, watching them chew the bark with difficulty. She forces them to drink plenty of water, her face etched with despair, as she struggles to keep her family alive. In the next scene, the family is seen peeling bark from trees to eat. Suddenly, everyone vanishes, leaving Nolan alone. Confused, he begins calling out for Mama and Sam. Before he can make sense of it, he feels an unseen force dragging him by his rope toward an old well. Panicked, he struggles, only to suddenly wake up and realize he had been sleepwalking. He finds himself alone in the forest, without his rope. Moments later, Coda, their dog, emerges from the woods. Before Nolan can react, Mama appears, grabs him, and drags him back to the house. Furious and terrified, she forces him to recite the prayer to the woods, and then locks him in the cellar to purify him from any lingering evil influence. That night, still awake, Nolan whispers to Sam, suggesting they escape the house. Sam resists, warning him, "The evil will catch us the moment we take off the rope." But Nolan dismisses his brother's fears, insisting that he doesn't believe in the evil anymore. Sam refuses, calling the idea too dangerous. At dinner the following evening, Mama introduces the boys to a camera. She explains its purpose, to capture special moments. She shows them old photographs, including one of herself as a young girl, and others of them as children. However, the mood quickly shifts as she addresses the harsh reality they face. Things are about to get brutal, she tells them. There's no food left. The garden is empty. The animals are gone. We have water for maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month. After that, our bodies will start shutting down. We'll die. Mama then proposes a grim solution. We have one option: to feed on Coda. Her words shock Nolan, who protests vehemently. "No!" he yells. "There's no evil out there. I was outside without a rope, and nothing happened to me. I won't let you hurt Coda." Tears stream down his face as he pleads for his friend's life. Mama, however, turns to Samuel. "You decide," she says. Reluctantly, Sam agrees. "We don't have a choice. We have to." Enraged, Nolan shouts, "I hate you. I hate both of you. I hate this house," before storming off. The next scene shows Mama taking Coda to the garden. Nolan runs after her, screaming and trying to stop her. Holding back tears, Mama whispers her gratitude to Coda for protecting them all these years. As she raises her bow and arrow to end his life, her hands tremble, and she breaks down, unable to pull the trigger. Suddenly, Nolan appears, holding a machete. He approaches Mama and says, "Mummy, it's not real. You need to see that there's nothing to be afraid of." Before she can respond, Nolan cuts her rope. Panicking, Mama grabs at him, but he shuts her inside the house. She pounds on the glass window, screaming, "Open the door!" Meanwhile, outside, Sam and Nolan begin wrestling. Sam tries to drag Nolan back to safety, but Nolan refuses. Inside the house, the female demon reappears to Mama, taunting her. It draws closer, reaching out to touch her. In desperation, Mama grabs a shard of broken glass and cuts her own throat to prevent the demon from taking her. Outside, Sam manages to knock Nolan unconscious and rushes to his mother. He finds her lifeless, blood pooling around her. Desperate, he pleads, "Wake up, Mama, please!" But she's gone. Nolan awakens and, realizing what he's done, stares at the scene in shock and despair. Guilt consumes him as he picks up the rope and ties it around himself, a silent acknowledgement of his mistake. In the final scene, Nolan calls out to Coda, begging him to return. Coda, however, stays hidden in the woods, watching but refusing to come back. After Mama's death, Nolan resolves to find a better life for himself and his brother. He ties all the ropes they have together and ventures deep into the forest, seeking a solution. Eventually, he comes across a paved road. Reaching the end of his rope's length, he screams for help, but no one responds. Disheartened, he returns home. Back at the house, a strange man approaches him saying, "Excuse me, I heard someone screaming for help while I was hiking. Was it you?" Introducing himself as Cole, the man offers Nolan food from his backpack. After hearing that his mom is dead, his brother is sick, and they have no supplies, Cole suggests taking them to his car, parked 500 miles away. Suddenly, Sam appears, armed with a bow and arrow, and tells Cole to back off. Nolan tries to reason with Sam, saying, "What if he's a real person?" But Sam remains skeptical, accusing Cole of being responsible for Mama's death. Despite Cole's protests that he doesn't even know their mother, Sam insists the evil can disguise itself in different forms. When Cole attempts to leave, Sam shoots him in the back. Cole collapses, bleeding but still alive, and begins screaming for help. Nolan, panicked, follows the blood trail to retrieve Cole's backpack. He finds Cole dialing 911, but wrestles the bag from him. Cole succumbs to his injuries and dies. Nolan returns home with the backpack and discovers it's filled with canned food. Starving, he tastes it and finds it delicious. As he eats, Sam walks in. Nolan tells him the food is from the man and offers him some, but Sam refuses, walking away and blaming Nolan for Mama's death. Later that night, Sam, unable to resist his hunger, sneaks into the kitchen and eats some of the food. He finds a flashlight in Cole's pack and steps outside to sit in the chair Mama used to sit in. Suddenly, he hears a strange noise and investigates, finding a scared young girl who claims, "I'm looking for my dad. He told me to wait by the car, but he never came back." She describes the man Sam had killed and notices the flashlight. "That's my dad's light," she says. Sam tries to explain. "I didn't mean to kill him. I thought he was the evil," he says. But before he can finish, the girl runs into the forest. Sam chases after her, only to realize he's running in circles. His rope reaches its limit, and he hesitates before deciding to unclip it, convinced she's real. As soon as he drops the rope and pursues her, she disappears. Suddenly, Sam hears strange noises and spots 6 disjointed hands climbing a tree. He spins around but finds nothing. Then, the entity reappears with the face of the girl. It extends a grotesque tongue that enters Sam's mouth, possessing him. Nolan wakes up sensing something is wrong. He ventures outside and finds Sam's rope lying on the ground. Calling out for his brother, he hears Sam's voice coming from the woods. Following it, he sees no one. Suddenly, Sam appears behind him with a machete and cuts Nolan's rope. Terrified, Nolan sprints back to the house, gasping for breath. Inside, Sam sits eerily still. Nolan demands, "Why did you cut my rope?" But Sam says nothing. Nolan grabs Sam's hands and places them on the wall, reciting their house prayer to purify him. But Sam suddenly pulls out a hidden knife and swings at Nolan, narrowly missing. Nolan flees, locking Sam in a room. Sam pushes furniture against the door, trapping Nolan in the house. He puts on a music player and sets the house on fire before walking outside. Smoke fills the air as Nolan climbs to the top floor and escapes through a window. As Sam waits outside to confront him, Nolan re-enters the house, searching for another way out. In the thick smoke, Nolan hears Mama's voice calling him sweetly from behind a curtain. "Come to me," she says. But Nolan refuses, shouting, "You're not her!" Sam takes a picture of himself standing in front of the burning house. Meanwhile, Nolan makes his way to the cellar, opening it just as the demon approaches. In a desperate act, he charges at the demon, forcing it into the cellar and sealing it shut. Holding the door firmly, Nolan recites the house prayer. The demon struggles, but eventually transforms into a monstrous creature, dissolving into dust like butterflies. Safety personnel arrive in helicopters and place an oxygen mask on Nolan, rescuing him. As he's flown away, Coda runs along the road, following the helicopter. Nolan wakes up in the medic's care and asks about Sam. The medic reassures him, "He's right here." Sam wakes up beside Nolan, who whispers, "We're free now." Sam looks at him and responds coldly, "She loves me more." If you enjoyed this recap, please like and follow us for more. Thank you.